What's up, guys, and welcome back. This is Carson Crop. I'm Cody Crop, and this is Last Sports Talk. And today we are going to be talking about what's next for each team in the AFC West. So let's start off with the Denver Broncos out there. 2025 cap space. They have $38.3 million, and they've got the 20th overall pick.
I know what needs to happen here, and I have a feeling the Keen's going to take care of it for me because we need to get that white corner Riley Moss off the field. So I'm going to leave that alone because I just have a gut feeling Keen's going to do that for me. So I really want the Broncos to draft Tez Johnson.
Ooh.
First of all,
yes.
It would reunite him with his brother, Bo Nix. I can see the storylines now.
Oh.
Second of all, they need an offensive playmaker in the worst way.
Yes.
And they can also address running back in this draft class late.
Yep.
So I'm not going to go towards that. So draft Tez Johnson. Their leading receivers right now are big, lumbering Devon Vele, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
They need an underneath, quick, shifty guy, electric playmaker.
Yep.
That's Tez Johnson.
All right.
Love it.
I could also see Sean Payton drafting a tight end because he loves tight ends, and I could see him getting his next Jimmy Graham and Colston Loveland. But please reunite Tez Johnson, Bo Nix, and who'd they draft last year?
Troy Franklin.
Troy Franklin as
yeah.
well, yeah. Now, Troy Franklin's kind of irrelevant, but it would still be cool to see.
That'd be cool.
I don't think Tez Johnson would be irrelevant. I think he would really unlock this offense, kind of like we saw Marvin Mims do for a couple of games. So, yeah, I think it would be exciting, and the fans would love it.
I would love it.
Oregon fans would love it.
Dude.
Broncos fans, yeah, it'd be great all around.
I think Troy Franklin's going to have to be relevant this year because I don't see how you can possibly feel good about starting Devon Vele unless you're doing a running play. Then it's like, yeah, throw out the almost tight end. But, yeah, I love that. And just for you, Carson, I will go corner.
Figured.
Yeah, but, let me just, little aside. What I did love what I saw last year out of Chris Abrams' drain, they're losing or on 91 coverage snaps, he had a 74.7 coverage grade. That is actually second on their team, only behind Pat Surtain. I know it's a small sample size, but I want to see more out of Chris Abrams' drain. So actually, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to leave that alone.
Damn!
I want to see Chris Abrams' drain get some more run.
Yeah.
I love the idea of getting a wide receiver. I was even thinking like maybe I like your idea better because you brought the Oregon guys together. But
I like that too.
First round, you could go Luther Burden too. He would be a yak guy who would help them a lot. And actually, the defense overall last year was pretty good. So I'm just gonna stay on the offense, and we're gonna go with a running back because you're losing Javonte Williams.
I like it.
I mean, you might as well just add another piece because you got Audric Estime, you got Jaleel McLaughlin, you got Blake Watson. Why not just add another piece cheap? We're going to go further down the board. We're going to get a speed demon in there. Give me Bashal Tootin.
Yes.
Someone's telling me he's a you guy.
Yeah, he's kind of a me. I'm trying to build the Broncos as my team.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I want to go get Bashal Tootin. I honestly just let this be a rotating field, rotating backfield of running backs. And once Jaleel McLaughlin, his contract runs out, just let him walk out. Just let everybody just keep walking out and just keep drafting guys like this.
Just embrace the committee.
Just embrace the committee. Or what I like even better, I want to go tight end, and we can even go Colston Loveland. I love what Sean Payton can do with a tight end, and whenever you bring him a tight end with the talent that Loveland has, I feel like it can be special because you're running with Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, and Nate Adkins. We kept talking about it last year, how these guys are a bunch of no-names.
Yep.
And but he made it work, and I think that you bring him Colston Loveland, it'll work even better.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could add to that, but I like everything you guys said. Probably my favorite is bringing in Tez Johnson. I think that'd work really well. That whenever I'm a Bo Nix fan, so the biggest thing that I saw is that he could really use that explosive wide receiver. Everyone saw it. But, I like adding Tez Johnson in there for that explosivity. And I don't know, maybe add, if you want to, you got some money to spend, maybe add some more depth at tackle, at offensive tackle, because I really liked their defense last year. I didn't see any glaringly obvious, terrible spots. I think maybe add some depth at tackle and guard in case anyone gets hurt. You can keep Bo Nix upright, and that's about it. I like this team a lot. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs. They have negative $20.3 million in 2025 cap space, and they have the 31st overall pick.
Yeah, this one's simple for me. This team's already loaded just about everywhere.
Yep.
And I just want them to draft an edge with their first round pick in this fairly deep edge class. So I think a good one's going to fall to them, and it's going to put this defense way over the top to go opposite of George Karlaftis.
Yeah.
Chris Jones in the middle. This defense is going to be unstoppable with a good edge draft pick here. I don't know who yet because I haven't scouted edges, but maybe more to come on that later in our mock drafts.
I'm going to go – we all saw how the Super Bowl went. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, the whole gang along the defensive line of the Eagles was just terrorizing Patrick Mahomes and getting through that offensive line like it was Swiss cheese. So we're immediately going, and we're going to get some offensive tackles here because they had to play Joe Thuney at left tackle. He's a left guard.
Right.
But they're like, shit, we got nobody else. They've been playing Jawan Taylor from Jacksonville at right tackle the past 2 seasons because they paid him all this money, and he just keeps penalizing and penalizing
yes.
Year after year. So we're going to try to address that right now, and we're going to go with Oregon offensive tackle Josh Connerly with a 31st overall pick, or if he's not there, we could go to Minnesota offensive tackle right next down the board. Ariante Ursary would be my next selection, but it was so clear that offensive line is a bad need in the biggest game of the year. And last time this happened, whenever they got blown out by Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they immediately went and attacked offensive line, and I could see them. History repeats itself doing this again.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think they need to focus on that offensive line and definitely through the draft because they got no money.
Money.
Yeah, I like the idea of adding to their defense, but I think because of that Super Bowl, that really just highlighted, man, do they need offensive line help bad.
One more thing that I want to say, they need a running back as well. Pacheco didn't look the same after he got injured last year. Kareem Hunt, as much as they love to jam him up the middle, 3 yards a carry, 2.5 yards a carry isn't going to do it. Get you a guy who is going to fight for you, knows how to win, knows how to carry a team to wins. Give me Cam Scatterbo in the second round. Yeah,
please don't. Jeez.
Yeah, that would be. I think that's like a beautiful, perfect fit, but it would be terrible that I would have to root against Scatterbo.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I like that take. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders in 2025, they have $89.7 million of cap space, and they have the 6th overall pick this year.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you guys have all the fun with this one because I'm just going to lay the foundation here.
Sure.
So this team's very top-heavy with talent. Maxx Crosby, Brock Bowers, Christian Wilkins, and this last top-heavy piece, Bobby Spillane, you got to re-sign him. He was third in the league in tackles last year. He was really what held this defense together when they were looking like shit at times, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you have lots of other defensive pieces there as well, but the key is just bring back Bobby Spillane here to keep this defense all together.
I could not agree more. Bring back Bobby Spillane, keep that defensive core intact.
Yeah, you love Bobby Spillane.
I love Bobby Spillane. I love the way he plays. Hits hard. And the Raiders, they got a lot of money. They could go a lot of different ways. I'd be tempted to bring in a stud wide receiver because, like, Jacoby Myers had a great year, but he could have an even better year if he's got a wide receiver 1 there.
Yes, he's a great wide receiver too.
Yes, and an awesome wide receiver too. If you got a ton of money and you're super committed, well, the issue is you don't really have a quarterback. Yeah. So, like,
I'll fix that. Hang on.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I told you he's having the fun here. I'll let you give the fun to him.
But if you can bring in a stud wide receiver, if you can bring in a Stephon Diggs, if you can bring in a Devontae Adams, I'm joking. But if you can bring in a you aren't going to get T. Higgins, but that would be awesome. Like a wide receiver of that type to just open up the field for all your underneath guys because Trey Tucker proved he can play. Like, not a ton, but, like, he'd be a good 3.
Yeah, it's a good 3,
Yeah, Jacoby would be a good 2. And if you can add to that side and just keep as much of the defensive core intact that you can, sign Bobby Spillane, you're going to need to fill in. Whether you do it through the draft, which I think you probably should, like, spend some of that draft capital on safety specifically because you're losing guys. There's a lot of studs out there that you can get.
Worry.
Yeah, Worry would be awesome to add to that crew.
Oh, Worry and Spillane.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And then Crosby and Wilkins on the front lines.
Yeah.
Oof, that'd be good. But that's kind of the main things. I'll let you wrap them up with all your fun.
Yeah, give me a signal caller here. And we got $89.7 million. And maybe we're going to overpay for this guy. But here, it's all about taking baby steps. Maybe he's not going to turn into a Hall of Famer one day. But like I said, back whenever we talked about the Raiders signings as head coaches with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, we're just moving steps forward. So we're gonna go sign Sam Darnold.
I like it.
Yeah, I know that it's going to be probably more expensive than we want, but give him 2 to 3 years. He's going to be a very solid bridge quarterback until we actually can draft a good quarterback. And like I said, we're just trying to get back to average. Creep back toward average is what we're trying to do. And I think Sam Darnold can get us to average. Is he going to light the world on fire, become an MVP, and bring Raider Nation back to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not.
But, maybe. Don't put it past him.
Yeah, I don't know. But we need to get some pieces. So I like your idea of wide receiver and then bring back the leader of that defense in Robert Spillane. And I think we're feeling better about the Raiders. I mean, it's still in a tough division, but maybe they can get to 500, which would be honestly a win.
Huge step for them. Yep. I wouldn't hate Sam Darnold there, I don't think. That would make a lot of sense with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Get him working with Tom Brady.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, exactly. Last team in that division, the LA Chargers. In 2025, they have $59 million in cap space, and they have the 22nd overall pick this year.
This team's good all across the board.
Yeah.
Easy there.
Well,
look out wide.
Emphasis on good.
That's true. But they do need another offensive weapon to take the pressure off Ladd McConkey in the run game. So I'm going to address this because at times the offense would just stall out. So the AFC West is a division here of reunions. First, I reunited Tez Johnson and Bo Nix. Now, I'm going to reunite Jim Harbaugh, Colston Loveland.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The last year, Jim Harbaugh showed a huge urgency to use a tight end in the pass game, but it came in the form of, unfortunately for them, Will Dissly, Stone Smart, Hayden Hurst, and you're getting a huge upgrade over all these guys with Colston Loveland. Even though I do like Tyler Warren better for them because of how run-heavy this team is, he's a great run blocker, lots of play action for him. I still love Colston Loveland as the bigger downfield threat to work with Love McConkey, reuniting with Jim Harbaugh. Quentin Johnson is supposed to be a downfield threat. Ladd McConkey works underneath, but now Colston Loveland can be the extra downfield piece, and then Ladd McConkey under him, and then Jim Harbaugh, you got a whole team of white guys still. So
yeah, true. Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah, I mean he loves Will Dissly, Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
and then you can address running back later in the draft too, because the class is so deep, and
agreed.
I think they should that's another team that should just embrace the committee, because I think it worked well for him last year. J.K. Dobbins showed he can't stay healthy as the one, so I think in a committee he can still be explosive and efficient, just not a workhorse.
Now, if you're the Chargers, for me, we got $59 million.
Yes.
You took our first-round pick to reunite. I love that. You're a family man. That's beautiful.
I am,
it's beautiful, man. But I'm going to take that $59 million, and we're going to offer the moon for T. Higgins. We are sending the bag at T. Higgins to make him really think about signing that $24 million franchise tag, because you got a lot of good stuff you can pitch to him. You got a good head coach who is very steady and has proven he can win in the NFL. You got a good quarterback who really looked like he took a step forward last year. Stats might not show it, but just watching him, he's like, wow, that guy, Justin Herbert, is better. Mm-hmm. You got a place where he can be the number one wide receiver with a separator in the slot in Ladd McConkey who can take some pressure off of him as well. So there's a lot of good stuff you can pitch to T. Higgins. You just made the playoffs last year too with no weapons. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of stuff that can bring T. Higgins in, including a lot of money. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to sell out. I don't care if we don't get any free agents the whole rest of this cycle. We're going to get T. Higgins, and that's what it has to be done, because you need wide receivers bad.
Whew, that is bold. You definitely do need wide receivers. I agree with that. But kind of where I tend to lean, you spend some of that money. I don't know if you're going to get T. I'd love it if you got T, but I think draft a wide receiver, and I think we should. Jim Harbaugh is a defensive guy, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes his tough-nosed defensive football.
Yeah.
He's a special teams guy.
Special teams guy. Here's what I'm thinking. I think you're struggling in. I mean, you're struggling in the linebacking room. You got free agents. You got all that. I think you need to go out and spend some of that money on a Dre Greenlaw or a Zach Bond in that backfield, to add on to Joey Bosa and like
Derwin James.
Yeah, Derwin James. And you're losing Asante Samuel. He's a free agent. I wouldn't hate if they re-signed him for cheap, but it'd be awesome if they could get one of those higher name corners in there. But even like a Byron Murphy out of Minnesota might work good for them.
Yeah.
But spend your money in that area of the field, I think would be really good and would fit the Chargers well. And do your best at getting another wide receiver. And then I think draft a running back late. Like get another running back in that room, and then hope for the best. Let them go to work. That's what I think. All right, that wraps up the AFC West. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and we will catch you in the next episode.